Good morning. I think I'm live. Oh, there, I can see the screen. I can see you. We'll see how this goes today. Another day of Bhagavad Gita Sadhana. And we've been looking at some of the challenges or obstacles to achieving or embodying Samatvam. Samatvam kind of literally meaning equanimity, but also if you break down the word sama, the same, and tva, the essential nature, it's being in your essential nature all the time, whatever is happening around you. We've been looking at various forms of Shiva, or as we say in the West, often Shiva, in preparation for Mahashivratri, the great night of auspiciousness. And we are talking about a particular form of Shiva again today, Chandisha Anugraha Murthy. And this particular form of Shiva represents a very common obstacle on any path to growth, especially the spiritual path. We've been in chapter 2 of the Gita, where Arjun has said to Krishna, tell me what to do. I'm your student. I surrender. Teach me. And Krishna agrees, and he's like, well, but don't tell me that. Whatever you tell me, I'm going to do what I want anyway. So please give me a teaching, and then I don't want it. Whatever you say, I'm not going to take it. This is one of our biggest obstacles. Asking for something and not being able to accept it when it's given. This could be as simple as love or positivity if we don't feel good about ourselves. It can be as complex as our relationship to money and material wealth. When somebody tries to give us something generous and then we feel like we're obligated to them in return, or it's too much. I don't know if you've ever had that feeling, but sometimes I have. And there's, of course, a story related to this that kind of sets the conflict of the Gita in motion. And it is related to this form of Shiva we're talking about today. Shiva in this form today is said to have given a sage this cow that was very coveted. Why was this cow coveted? Well, the cow's name was Kamadhenu, and Kamadhenu was a cow that could grant any wish. And as you might imagine, lots of people wanted it. However, interestingly, kind of like the monkey's paw, if you've ever read that, the way they got their wishes wasn't evil. In fact, it was kind of the opposite. They would get their wishes, but then be like, I don't know what to do with this. What'll I do with it? And this relates to Grandfather Bhishma, a character from the Gita we've mentioned before, the most feared warrior on the battlefield. He's been around a long time, and he has a special power. So let's go back, way back. There was a sage who was taking care of Kamadhenu, and there was this group of godlike beings, like lesser godlings. They were brothers, and one of the brothers had a wife that said, I want that cow. Like many people, I want that cow because it'll bring me what I desire. And the husband of that wife convinced his brothers to help him steal the cow. They stole the cow. The sage found out and cursed them to be born as human. Most of the brothers, he said, after the brothers whined, oh my gosh, we have to be human. We have to be human. Why? Why? It's so hard to be human. No. And the sage said, okay, listen, my words cannot prove false, but the ones that just kind of went along with it, you'll only have to be human a short time. The ringleader, the one with the wife, you will have to be human a very long time and suffer and live with human conditions. And the godlings went, oh. So the words came to pass, the words of the sage. Most of the godlings were born and immediately died and felt liberated to go back to their place in what we would call the heavens. But the last born one, he actually had to stick around a while in his body. And there was a part of him that knew, I am more than my body. I am divine, and I wish I could get back to that. This symbolizes us, the part of us that knows we're more than the body, that we are divine, and we want to get back to that. Well, later on, this godling who became known as Devavrat did a heroic deed, and after that heroic deed, he became named Bhishma, the terrible one who can do terrible things. And after this heroic deed, his father said to Bhishma, "My son, you have done this great thing. Now I give you the boon that you can die whenever you please." And part of Bhishma inside goes, "There's something I really wanted to do with that boon. What was it? Did I want to die now? What?" But he'd forgotten. He'd become so attached to his human form, he forgot what he most wanted, which was to shed his human form and go back to divinity. Only much later, during this great war that starts with the Gita, does he realize, man, this is not for me. I don't want to fight and kill those people I call my grandchildren. And he does give up his body. It's a really long story. I'm simplifying it. But hopefully it gets the point across that many times when we're presented with something we really want, we forget that we've wanted it, or we've become attached to something else, or in some other way we just don't accept it. So today's meditation, I encourage you to look at what have you asked for in life, and then it's come to you. It could be, for example, a promotion. You get a promotion, then all of a sudden you're like, I don't know if I can handle the responsibility. Or it could be having a child or having another child, and then you go, oh my gosh, this is stressful, and I don't know if I can handle it, and you have doubts. What is it that you're asking for? Where do you want to be promoted in your spiritual life? What do you want to accept as a beloved child of your heart? A mudra that may help with this is adhara mudra. It starts, as many do, from Anjali mudra. The hands come with the fingers forward and then the thumbs open. If you can keep the fingertips together and create a little space for acceptance and holding, great. But if the fingers need to come apart because that's more comfortable, that's also an option. And I also invite you today to contemplate the syllable na. Yesterday was om, today is na. Na, if you look at Sanskrit and this vibration of na, it's said that Sanskrit is the root of pretty much every active language in the Indo-European tradition today. And if you look at the word no in many different languages, there's usually an N or na sound in there somewhere. Everything from Catalan to Italian to German to English. No. Sometimes we say this to ourselves. Here's what I want. Nah. Oh, today as we meditate, perhaps contemplate nah, where you're saying no in your life when life is trying to hand you exactly what you've asked for. I'm thinking of this particularly because the weather. I remember when I was setting the sadhana, I was thinking, I hope the weather is not too bad, selfishly. And the weather has been very unseasonably warm, very little snow. And part of me is going, oh man, why did I wish for that? I missed the snow and the cold. It's so important for our region's economy. What was I thinking? I'll go think about that. All right. We may have a cat joining us. We'll find out. Let's contemplate what we asked for but then denied, maybe with the syllable na and that adhara. Mudra, real quick show. Okay. I wanted a cat that loved me, and I got that. Stay there, buddy. Welcome back. How did it go? Oliver's a fabulous example of getting what you wish for, aren't you, buddy? He seems to wish he would get outside, but every time he's gotten outside, he's gone out into the big world and gone, and then wanted to come right back inside. So don't be like Oliver. Be you. Accept what life has to give you. And I hope to see you again tomorrow. Ciao.